Is it uncommon to share finances with your spouse? I only ask because I see a lot of posts here talking about their partner not helping with bills or not paying for groceries/dates/stuff for their kids, etc. My wife and I were sharing finances literally the day after we got married. It's not my money or her money. It's our money, our bills, our groceries, our date night. It's just weird to me that people wouldn't share a bank account if you're willing to legally share a name. Money can be a contentious thing, but I imagine that's made 1,000 times worse when you don't have a clear picture of your shared spending habits. Edit. Okay, 2 things. 1. I'm not necessarily talking about situations with one shared account and 2 individual accounts. That makes sense to me if you have a need to really distinguish and separate your fun money. I'm talking about situations where there is just my account and your account and splitting bills and all of that. Just seems like extra steps to me. 2. After reading responses, it's really interesting to see both sides of the argument. There's a lot of responses that basically say it's weird and unnatural to me to split finances, and a lot that say it's weird and unnatural to not split finances. Just interesting from a social experiment level. Edit 2. I'm gonna keep adding edits to this post until engagement dies down. So first of all, I want to say I'm not bashing anybody for having separate finances. Do whatever works for your marriage. I'm just saying it's strange to me because I never considered it an option, and the people around me all have shared finances with their spouses. Secondly, I've noticed a lot of comments that say in my first marriage we did joint finances. In the second marriage we didn't, which is interesting. Makes sense if you had a partner who abused that money that the second go at it you'd want to minimize that impact. Comments. 1. I agree 100%. I never really understand those posts either. What are they hiding from each other? LOL. OP, exactly. Not that my mind goes straight to they're hiding something, but it's impossible to hide something when both of you have access to all of the money. 2. We didn't combine and we aren't hiding anything. Our accounts were already set up to our individual bills, so it was easier to keep it the way it was. We each pay different bills, he pays cable and phone, I pay gas and electric, etc., and we also have a joint account. Whatever works for a marriage works. 3. I'm right there with ya. We have separate accounts and pay separate bills for the household. We are on a few credit cards together, but they aren't cards that are used often. And now that I think about it, they are my husband's card and I am an authorized user. If I use it, I just let him know so he pays it. Even with separate accounts, we still have the mentality that it's our money. 4. That's how we did things for 20 years also, and now that I don't work anymore, I hate that I don't have my account when I want to buy a birthday gift or surprise him with something because it's on the flipping bank account online in 10 seconds lol. Wasn't ever about mine or your money, it was totally about these are the things I am paying and these are what you pay, and then nobody overdrew a joint account due to not knowing the other bought groceries or something. 5. My parents were poor, married in their 20s, had kids right away. It wouldn't have made sense for them to have separate finances. My partner and I married in our 40s with already many separate accounts, properties and investment styles, plus we won't have kids. Maybe we'll move to combining more, but there just isn't a need or a huge desire. 6. To answer your question, we aren't hiding anything from each other, we just don't see the benefit in seeing every small thing we bought. I'm curious about the data that shows people who are wealthier share finances. Our combined income is $230K and we both put about 30% of it into investment funds. I'm curious why our setup will lead to divorce and poverty. Can someone send me a link to these studies? I'm open to changing our finances if it will lead us to success. 7. Didn't mean any offense and wasn't implying separate finances led to divorce. If it's working for you, that's great. The observation comes from the posts in this sub that have issues around one spouse not paying their fair share and the couple also having separate finances. It can definitely create issues no matter how much money you have. It's not the core issue, of course. If both are capable of being transparent and responsible with their finances, that's good, but those are not the people we are referring to in this thread. 8. Oh, I didn't take any offense. I'm sorry if it came off that way, I just prefer to be direct. It seems a lot of people look down on couples that don't share finances, literally every comment here too, and I've always just been curious as to why, but interested in the data that shows positive long-term outcomes with shared accounts. I agree that I see a lot of posts in this sub complaining about the other spouse not wanting to work or contribute money to mortgage, bills, etc. Unless there's kids or emotional/physical health ailments, I just think of that as more of an entitlement issue than anything else regarding shared accounts. 9. Coming from a marriage with separate accounts and no joint account, for us it has zero to do with either of us having something to hide. More about it making us anxious having two debit cards pulling money from the same account. I'm neurotic about checking my account, and it would be even worse knowing there was someone else out there using the same account. I've had money struggles growing up and fought with overdraft fees off and on throughout that time. So I'm just like, no thank you. We still view it as our money. It's just not all in one account. It does make sense for us to have bills coming out of one account, so that's why we just have everything coming out of his account and I Venmo him to help offset finances. I pay a tiny fraction of what he does, but still feels good to know I'm contributing something. Also a perk that we don't have to do with trying to cover up gift purchases. I order stuff with ease and have his gifts shipped to my parents. We are open about where we are financially too. We don't hide if we are tight on money or not. It all works if you have trust and open communication. But that goes without saying for most things, lol. 10. Yup, hubby and I have shared finances from day one. I don't get it. You want to watch your spouse live in poverty? You want to retire 10 years before them? Should an hourly rate be assigned for child rearing? Is there a birthing bonus? No wonder these people fight. Edit to add, it probably seems common because they are more likely to need Reddit to save them. Opie, good point lol, and yeah, I agree about the whole watching your partner suffer. If I made twice what my wife makes and expected her to pay half the bills and then just lived extravagantly without her, why would she want to be married to me? 11. We have separate, agreed and budgeted, spending money to buy our own clothes, personal items, lunches/coffee, gifts, hobby things in separate bank accounts. Occasionally I'll buy him a drink or vice versa from our separate accounts, but the vast majority of our money is joint. All our bills, mortgage, student loans, gas, insurance, car payments, are paid from joint funds. The separate accounts are really just a way to let us budget independently. I spend more on clothes than he does, but he spends way more on hobbies. 12. My hubby and I do not share finances, and it works well for us. We both have sizable incomes and each pay certain bills out of our own accounts. It works well for us. Since I do buy all of the groceries and household items, my husband is an authorized user on one of my credit cards, so if he's out and knows that we need it, he buys it and gives me the receipt so I can deduct from my checkbook. It's less stressful this way because we don't question each other's spending habits. As long as the bills are paid and money is being invested in our 401ks etc. What he buys with his money is his business, and what I buy with mine is mine. We do file our taxes jointly though because it makes more economic sense.